Hello there, welcome to an episode of World of Warships with Ungainly Titan. Yes, I've started playing World of Warships again. I finally, I think, got my act together to the point where I can actually start exploring other games. And I've also been looking around for games that I wanted to try that were suitable for broadcasting on YouTube that I could fit in the kind of time space that I can upload overnight, which limits me to about 15 minutes or so. Well, I can do a 20-minute video as well, but that takes in a considerable chunk of the following day. This is a recording from a replay. So I installed the World of Warships replay system, which doesn't come as part of the native client. It's a separate download, and you then install it, given instructions on the website. You install it and set it up, and it just automatically records everything into a replays folder. So you've got to go and clean out that folder on a regular basis, otherwise you're going to fill up your hard drive with World of Warships replays. Well, you will if you play a lot of World of Warships. And the other thing it doesn't include is the in-screen. There's no battle in-screen included in this game. Now, this is my first actual random battle in World of Warships. And having watched it several times, I realised that I can't actually give you a decent commentary on a World of Warships game, because other than what I'm doing, which I think is pretty obvious stuff, essentially I'm trying to minimise myself as a target, keep a narrow frontal profile towards the ships that I'm fighting, vary my speed, try and avoid crashing into islands, and bring as many guns to bear as possible on the enemy ship that I'm trying to fire against. I will leave it to you to decide how good, bad or indifferent I was in that particular objective. But in terms of what the team is doing, I have no clue. I don't know how to judge it. There's obviously a lot of this game that I just don't quite get at the moment, and it's, I suppose, similar in World of Tanks when we began. Although, I think I understood World of Tanks a bit better. I had a background in wargaming. I'd played quite a bit of tactical and miniatures gaming. I understand land movement and terrain, and I understand, well, there's a lot of the game mechanics that I had no clue about. So I had no clue really how stuff like camouflage, detection, terrain camouflage, bushes and stuff like that worked. I didn't understand a lot of the firing mechanics in terms of the dispersion, firing on the move, the effects of it in terms of being spotted and camouflaged. A lot of that stuff. Didn't understand the importance of crew skills and how crew skills affected and tank mastery affected your performance. But bottlenecks in the terrain, that stuff was obvious. Sticking to the low ground, avoiding being silhouetted in ridge lines, that sort of stuff I knew about. But there's obviously stuff going on in World of Warships that I just don't really know about, and I don't necessarily understand. Like, so who's doing better or worse? How are the teams doing? What do those two numbers on top up there mean? Under the two flags? I don't know. Why is one sideways and one square? I don't know that either. Although I think it goes sideways, the square goes to the points when somebody's in that cap circle. There's a fair amount of stuff going on in this screen that I don't necessarily understand, so I can see myself having to play quite a few more games of this thing before I get a deeper understanding of the game mechanics and what's going on at a unit level, so to say, at a battle level. And then I'd probably need to watch quite a bit of YouTubers. I'll probably start with Mighty Jingles. I'm already a subscriber. I've watched a few World of Warships games by him, but I never found it compelling viewing. But again, it probably wasn't compelling viewing because I didn't, again, know enough about it to understand what I was seeing, to get a proper read on it. The one thing I can say about the game is I don't find it addictive or as compelling as World of Tanks. I could sit down and play World of Tanks for hours and hours, and I still can. I still enjoy World of Tanks. Now, I don't think I'm as badly addicted to it as I was at the start. I think I had a genuine addiction to it for a while. I really every moment that I had spare, I would be playing World of Tanks. Whereas now but once I start a session, I get absorbed into it, and you know, you like to complete the grind. You set yourself a target. You want to get so many million silver. You're working with premium tanks, or I want to get second mark mastery on this particular tank, or first mark mastery, or whatever. None of that sort of stuff has kicked into me with World of Warships yet. Anyway, I could see after an hour or two playing this game, I just feel like, okay, I've done that, that was fun, now let's move on to do something else, and I would go and then do something else. I have also installed and played World of Warplanes, but I will talk about that later on when I will actually show the video. There's a little bit of extra footage that I'm going to put on at the end of my World of Warplanes experience. In other news, somebody's laying cable along my roads near my house, between me and the telephone exchange. So hopefully that is Erie that is upgrading their network like they promised, and I will have fibre broadband before the year's out. That would be really nice, because that would give me more flexibility in my YouTube channel, and I think would allow me to become a proper YouTuber, offering the full range of services and more variety in games, because I would like to do more playthrough type games and longer videos on some other particular things or topics of interest. I'd like to do some kind of map guide series for World of Tanks, for instance, but I think that actually will require longer videos, or at least interactive type video where you'd have a lot of links to different videos showing different scenarios. I have quite a lot of accumulated footage on the various maps, and I think sometimes if you're making a point, you can make it in a fairly short video, but there's no point in giving people directives, because that's not what the rest of the team is going to be doing when they actually go and play a particular game. When they play a particular game, they'll need to know where to be when the team is doing something unusual or odd. Looking in my video analytics, my most successful videos, my most watched videos these days are actually the videos that I put up related to Fantasy Grounds, which speaks well for how well Dungeons & Dragons is doing at the moment, particularly since 5th edition came out. It seems to be doing really, really well, and seems to have picked up a lot of new players and new followers, and this seems to have garnered quite a bit of interest. So on any given day, there's probably more people watching those 6 videos that I put up about Fantasy Grounds from my friends last autumn than are watching any of the current World of Tanks content. In fact, I would say that it is actually to my detriment in some respects as a World of Tanks YouTuber, because when somebody goes to my page, I strongly suspect that when they look at my most popular videos, they're seeing Fantasy Grounds and D&D related content rather than World of Tanks content. I do feel somewhat sorry though for people who've been sent by the YouTube search engine to my content for D&D related content, who then think that they have found a D&D related channel and find that no, I'm putting up World of Tanks content almost exclusively. I think I gained and lost 2 subscribers in the last couple of months for that very reason, because they appeared shortly after. Now, they never made any comment, they didn't pass me any feedback or messages, but I got 2 subscribers after putting up the Fantasy Grounds content, and then lost the 2 subscribers several months later. And I am a fan of Dungeons & Dragons, so at the very least I could direct people towards better content and more regular content and the stuff that I would be doing. World of Warplanes, yes, I gave that a go. I'd seen Jingles put up videos of it there in the last couple of months. There had been several months ago a major update. As far as I know, it's a complete rewrite of the game's engine. I don't know what it was like before. I'm not even sure if I was aware it existed, but I saw Jingles videos and it looked like fun, and it looked simple. The kind of stuff that I actually like, because you don't have to be worrying really about flying the plane, but just playing the game. I remember messing around with air combat games from the 90s. It was F-15 and F-22. games, and they were incredibly complex. They were practically flight simulator games. Now, I don't know if they'd have been good enough to teach you how to fly a plane properly, but they gave you the impression that they were almost good enough to teach you how to fly a plane properly, but they were way too much work and way too much of a learning curve, and I just didn't have time for them at the time. This is very simple. You're in the plane, you're flying, and you just shoot stuff up. It's great fun, and I could definitely see myself getting hooked on this one. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. Please consider giving the channel a subscription if you haven't already done so, and I'll catch you all again soon.